Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Midweek Minutes. Hey, what's that behind you? I made you look. Remember we used to do that when we were kids? The whole reason we did that was to throw a person off and to be silly. You know, it said that you can't really move forward if you're looking backward. But I believe that we can be moved to purpose to move forward when we look back at all the great things God has done. And on Sunday, we had a message entitled, Look What God Has Done. And Pastor Mike's intent was for us to look back at all the wonderful things God has done in our lives to help us to press forward on our Christian journey. Our passage was Luke chapter 8, verses 38 to 39. And in this portion of scripture, it follows a man who was demon possessed that had been healed by Jesus, who had now come back to Jesus and was begging to go with him. Let's read it. It says, the man who had been freed from the demons begged to go with him, but Jesus sent him home, saying, no, go back to your family and tell them everything God has done for you. So he went all through the town proclaiming the great things Jesus had done for him. Look what God has done. You know, in our lives, there's often times when we're quiet, when we need to be more vocal. And why? So others can see the glory of God shining bright in our lives. You know, ultimately, our desire is to be closer to Jesus. And we had a point on Sunday that said, the heart that's truly saved desires most of all to be with Jesus. You see, when you're with Jesus, you start to learn things differently. You start looking at the world differently. You start looking differently. And so you start living differently. And ultimately, we start loving differently. So, when we look back, it empowers us to step forward through this process of walking by faith. It gives us a testimony, a witness that we can share with our family, with our friends, so that they can be drawn to the one who we mention when we say, look what God has done. So I encourage you, look at all the things God has done. And not only look at them, but show them to others by the way we speak, by the way we live, and by the way we passionately pursue our purpose and our call to follow Jesus. Thank you for joining me for another edition of Midweek Minutes. I hope to see you again next week. Goodbye for now, friends.